pornography. Now that we've got your attention, Mended Light. Welcome to Ask the Therapist. Joining me today are...
Jessica Manio.
And Chase Brewer.
Members of our Mended Light therapeutic team here to answer your burning questions. Today's question, how long does it take to recover from a porn addiction? And by recover, I guess that means to kick the habit, right? How long does it... And honestly, I don't know that this is any different than any other compulsive behavior. I don't know that there's different timelines for porn versus cigarettes or shopping or 2 a.m. Taco Bell runs. You know who you are. You're probably eating Taco Bell right now. It's the enchilada. It's so good. So let's talk about how long it takes to break a pornography habit, but also habits specifically. Opening thoughts.
I mean, my initial thought is there is no definitive timeline. It's not like, okay, it's going to take 48 days, boom, done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like grief. You just, it carries with you. You never really know when this habit is fully kicked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think it's dangerous to look at it in terms of timeline, because if you don't achieve it during the set number of days, then you feel like you failed, right? You feel like you're never going to kick it. The thing is, it really depends on the person. It depends on why you turn to porn. It depends on the type of porn. It depends on the frequency. Some people may think they have a porn addiction and they watch porn every week. Whereas to others, if they're watching porn once a week, they're like, I got this completely managed. Yeah. Mischief managed, if we're going to borrow Harry Potter, right? And first of all, let's talk about, because people have different values regarding pornography. For some people, it is just a complete no-no, all the way to, yeah, this is part of my life. This is part of the diet of things I take in. Some people use it to enhance their sexual relationship with their partner. So let's lead out of the gate. When do you think pornography use could be a problem?
I think it's like
that
everything.
Was amazing.
Everything you just said. It's like it depends on the person, their value system, what they're using it for.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to it, and it's, as therapists, we don't ever judge. So
yeah,
it's hard to just quantify that or kind of.
Well, what direction do you want us to take you, or what direction do you want to take us in?
Me?
Right? No, you as the pornography viewer, and if you have to define what the addiction is to you to help us be able to help you.
Oh, unfortunately, this isn't a live stream, so we're just gonna have to wing it. So I would start off by saying, just like any behavior can be problematic if it's impeding your life.
Yeah. Right.
For example, ESPN. I may not have a moral ESPN. I may not have a moral opposition to ESPN. Am I neglecting my children because I'm watching SportsCenter? Am I late for work? Am I behind on my paperwork? Am I, these types of things? Is it getting so? I know somebody personally whose therapy practice is helping CEOs not watch porn at the office. That these are people who, for them, there's no problem with porn. The problem is, I'm not working.
Yeah.
Like this is now just bled into my life, and it's
interfering with me connecting with my family,
right,
or meeting work responsibilities.
Right. And so the very first thing is, I would say, is if it's interfering with your life and it's keeping you from living the life you want to have, then it's a problem. And that's a blanket statement for pornography, because for me personally, I'm not opposed to nudity or portrayals of sexuality. Alicia and I did a video where we talked about going to Europe and we go in the museums and all the art is naked, and Alicia's mom is like, oh my gosh, and I'm just like, it's art, not a big deal. For me, the issue with pornography is that I promote healthy relationships, and so much of porn is not that. So much of porn is what's taboo, what's forbidden, what's things that in real life would just wreak complete and utter havoc on people's lives. And for some people, they watch it and they say, well, yeah, I watch it there because I wouldn't want to do it in real life. It's my escape, right? The same reason people play violent video games and they're not violent in real life, because I go into Grand Theft Auto and I get out my violent tendencies there. For other people, it feeds a curiosity and feeds a habit and takes them down a road. And I knew for me personally, I didn't like the way that I was looking at women. I didn't like the objectification, like how it was affecting my neurochemistry. And my expectations of sexuality were completely unrealistic. Just like movie fights are nothing like real fights. Like pornographic sex was nothing like real sex. And it was just messing me up. And so for me personally, I wanted to walk away. So going back to the timeline thing, you brought up, Chase, just like grief, it may be with you forever, right? Or there may be a time where you feel like I'm okay now, like this isn't a problem anymore. For me personally, and then I want to hear from you two, not necessarily about pornography, but just like kicking any sort of habit that you found to be negative. For me personally, it's still a wrestle. It's not nearly the wrestle that it was, but if I have really intense, stressful days, I still feel that urge to turn to that because that's a quick outlet.
Yeah.
How long does it take to recover? For me, it's probably a lifelong thing. Like, once I made the decision and the determination, it was, I wrestled with it for years, and then I got to a point where I'm like, no, forget this. Like, I am actually done. And I've heard it said that breaking a bad habit doesn't take as long as fully deciding to break a bad habit, right? And so for me, like, I wanted to stop, but I kind of didn't want to stop, and I had to treat it like this is an abusive relationship. I treated pornography as a toxic girlfriend. We had some great times together, and I'm not saying we didn't, but this isn't what I want in my life anymore.
Yeah.
And I actually broke up. And so whenever I felt the urge to look at pornography, it was like I just got a text from her saying, I miss you, baby. And I'm like, oh, just ghost her. Just ghost her. Just block this number, right? And once I actually made the decision, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But then you deal with it through the rest of the years. Like, you think for months and months or even years, I'm good. And then something big happens, and then the pull is there. You know, I have a friend who struggled with alcohol, and he was clean and he was sober for years. And then a major life stressor happened. And for the first time in years, he felt that pull, you know. What were you going to say?
Well, to add on to that, I too cannot gauge the timeline of when it will, how long it would take for you to no longer view pornography or feel free from pornography, but I can give you pointers that could help you stay away from pornography at longer increments that you yourself can take as a personal win. And those pointers are understanding the shame that comes with you viewing pornography.
Well, and most people who want to quit find it shameful.
Right.
Yeah.
And not being able to quit, they shame themselves because they think there's something wrong with me. I am something wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a personal weakness.
Personal weakness.
Yeah.
And you may find yourself, like many others out there, they're trying to do this on their own. And they may find that they're not strong enough to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And shame tells them you can't reach out to someone else for help. Right? And so that's one of the
What
pointers.
if people knew? What if they found out?
Exactly. You will know who your real friends are when they show you empathy in return.
Yeah.
Right? If people are shaming you, that might be an indication that they might not be the type of people that you want to hang out with in the first place.
Yeah.
Besides that point, though, reaching out to people that could give you that support, right?
There are groups for this sort of thing.
Yeah, groups for this sort of thing, and looking into your resources, right? One that can help you and hold you accountable can create change, a change of habit, a change of pattern.
Yeah. I think eliminating shame and finding support and recognizing this is about a behavior I want to change. This isn't about an identity that is flawed or broken, right? And that's true whether it's porn or anything else. What are your thoughts on breaking unhealthy habits or things that you don't want anymore?
Well, I think, kind of ping-ponging. I feel like I'm sitting watching a ping pong match or a tennis match.
Sorry about
But
that.
listening to you guys dialogue back and forth, it's like, well, it's the same with any addiction, that there's shame that usually comes with it. Fear of family and friends or people kind of outside your immediate circle knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I think, working with that stigma, and of course, therapy I think is always helpful when you have an addiction that you're trying to overcome. But then again, replacing it with healthier habits and knowing that it's day by day. Sometimes it's going to be hour by hour. It might be minute by minute. I often will tell clients, set a timer on your phone, 5 minutes. Can you go 5 minutes? Awesome. You made it 5 minutes. Can you do 5 minutes more? Like, can you kind of push yourself past that urge where it's, like you said, when life kind of blows up in our face or things go bad, and there's this tendency of like, I want to go back to, that pull becomes stronger. I want to go back to something that's going to soothe, that's going to give immediate relief. It's, can you sit in that discomfort for 5 minutes? Awesome, you did 5 minutes, can you do 10? And then what will happen is usually after about 20 minutes, your nervous system just starts to come back to homeostasis. So it's like, can you kind of just ride it out a little bit? And of course, sometimes easier than others.
No, but that's such great advice, because in my case, when I felt that pull, there was a point where I was like, if I can make it 10 minutes, I'm going to be okay. Right? And then I'd be like, I'm going for a walk. Right? Or I racked up a fairly high Subway bill, actually, because I go to Subway and get sandwiches, and that was what I was going to do instead. But then I started saying exercise is a great release for me on this, you know. And you're exactly right. Once you make it through past that hump, like, you're gonna be okay. If you're watching at home and you're struggling with pornography, or you're struggling with buying or eating or drinking or whatever it is that is your go-to coping, that you go to because it feels good and it provides that immediate release, and you want to do something different, don't fixate on timelines. It's going to take as long as it's going to take, and it's going to take your maximum efforts, and you're going to have good days, and you're probably, statistically, there's lots of great stories about people saying, I quit cold turkey. I decided and I quit cold turkey. Most likely, you're going to have slip-ups.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
It's normal. It's natural. It's what we expect.
We're just changing habits. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. So don't give up. So that's how long it could take, but how do you actually get free? We've talked about some of that here. I go into a deep dive on that and how to get free from porn addiction. It's a Ask a Therapist video that is now playing over Chase's head.
So if you have broken an unhealthy habit or behavior, we would love to hear how you did it. We would love for you to share in the comments below so our community can learn from your experience.
We're also eager to know what other questions that you might have for us. Please leave those comments below.
And if you would like support in breaking a habit, Jessica and Chase are here, eager to help you. There are links to schedule with Jessica if you live outside of the state of Utah, with Chase if you live inside the state of Utah, in the comments below. As always, keep shining. We need your light. And thanks for joining us. Boom! There's the video. Yes!